Let's talk about SmackDown from March the 28th, 2024, in which Triple H is still very bad at his job. So, news and notes first. They're starting to induct matches into the Hall of Fame, calling them immortal moments. The first match that they're going to put into the Hall of Fame is not Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat or Stan Hansen versus Bruno Sammartino in the cage. It is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret the Hitman Hart from WrestleMania 13. Look, not a bad match if you're going to put people who are still alive in the Hall of Fame again. Not a bad idea to put people who are still alive in the Hall of Fame again. A lot of this is going to start discourse about what matches are Hall of Fame worthy matches and who is making this distinction. You know, that's and it puts a lot of emphasis on match quality now, which now that they're putting matches in the Hall of Fame, now you probably want to have the best match on the show. And look, it works in UFC. I don't think they do this in boxing, but it'll work in boxing because it's not a work. And, you know, if Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler go in there and beat each other to death, then everybody's like, ooh, they're captivated. And look, wrestling matches can be captivated too. That's why we watch this stuff. At the same time, though, the match should serve the story. And that's what should make the match matter. You don't want guys thinking, hey, if I go out there and imitate Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, I can get into the WWE Hall of Fame in 25 years. That's real dumb. But look, it's a great match. I can't complain about the match being honored in some way. But I'm not really thrilled about the idea of putting matches in the Hall of Fame. It's just a way of getting Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin to actually show up to things. Because heaven knows Triple H has probably been trying to pull those two guys into this WrestleMania weekend for the last several months. He's probably been trying to do anything to get these guys to participate. So he finally got these guys to show up. They're going to talk about the match. Fine. It just screams that somebody was into the UFC thing and they started putting fights in the Hall of Fame. So now WWE is putting matches in the Hall of Fame. It's fine. It's not a terrible idea. It's not a great one. Just another way to give a payday to some guys who are still alive. The pricing for a lot of the meet and greets are absolutely astronomical. It's even more ridiculous than I thought. $300 is what they're asking you to pay so that you can meet Bianca Belair. $300. $300. Look, I love me some Bianca Belair. Lord knows I do, but I'm not giving her $300. Even if 80% of that went to her, which I know it's not. But even if that was the case, no. I ain't doing it. Can't do it. Won't do it. The ticket prices are also astronomical. Really over the top. Still over $1,000 per seat. It is ridiculous. Somebody, and I'm not going to really take their word for it. I'm just going to use this as a talking point. Somebody claims that this is going to be one of the lowest attended WrestleManias in 20 years. When you put both shows together, it will be one of the lower attended WrestleManias if they don't sell any more tickets, which we don't know. Ticket prices are likely to absolutely plummet within the next few weeks anyway. It still may end up being a profitable show, but something's going to be said about the ticket pricing, and somebody needs to be questioned about the pricing for these events. It's ridiculous, and it's not sustainable. I don't know what they're going to do about it, but it's not sustainable. All right, one more note, and then we get into the show. Evolution. Apparently, Triple H or somebody has said that there's going to be an Evolution 2. I have always said that even if they lose money on this event, the company makes money overall, so it won't really matter that much. It's just a way of pacifying the woke scolds who've been brutalizing Triple H over not wanting to do another Evolution show. And I could see that they would do it. Of course, they have the talent to do it. They can always call in talent if they need more. So it's not a a huge deal. That being said, however, I don't really care about an Evolution show. There's probably enough people now that if you load it up with enough female stars that they'll actually go to the show. Last time, nobody wanted to go to the goddamn show. Now people may actually go to the show, but will the show be any goddamn good is the question. And that's still up in the air. Again, WWE, even if this show bombs, none of their other shows bomb, so they tend to do okay. But if they package Evolution with something else, maybe it'll work. Maybe they do a NXT show the same weekend, and they do like a double header. You might be able to sell the building out. All right, let's get into this show. Let's start with the main event. The contract signing, Punk, Rollins, Roman, in which it should be Roman versus Punk, but instead they stuck Seth Rollins in there too. This show, like all the European shows, have been the main event guys come out so that the soccer fans can chant and sing the song, and the entrance ends up being 5 to 6 minutes. Randy Orton's entrance was so long. Cody's entrance was like, it's fine when it's just Undertaker or when it's just Roman Reigns. But when you got 4 or 5 guys coming out and you have to sing their song and they walk around so they can sing the song and they have to let the fans sing and sing and sing and sing and chant and sing and chant and sing, you're like, God damn, can we get to the point here? It's excessive, right? In sports, they continue to play. In wrestling, they want to play up the crowd reaction. And when you do that, these people hold up the show. They must sing Randy Orton's theme song. 20 years of you never singing Randy Orton's theme song, now all of a sudden you have the compunction to want to sing Randy Orton's theme song. Get out of here. Okay? Stop it. These people need to get to the ring faster. This stuff needs to move fast. Especially these talking segments that seem to go on forever. Again, let me truncate this thing. Roman didn't have much to say, really. Seth Rollins came out and gave us the history of the Shield in London like anybody gave a shit. That's his only real purpose for existing, is to talk about the Shield. Roman says, look, I'm the reason for WWE's success, the $1 billion deals and Netflix stuff. What have you done? And Seth Rollins said, that attitude is why I keep trying to screw you. Like, ugh. At least he's not dressing like a, stripper anymore. But that language is a big old pause. Pause, indeed. Anyway, Seth Rollins continues to go on about Roman Reigns letting the snake in the garden. And Roman Reigns is sitting there and CM Punk shows up. Punk is flipping through the contract. Roman tells him to hurry up. He needs to find it today. Sign it today. And then Paul Heyman goes over to Punk and says, what you're looking for is in there. You will main event this WrestleMania. You will close the show. And Punk had tears in his eyes. Paul had tears in his eyes. They talk about this being Punk's dream. Rollins pitched a fit because he was supposed to stop CM Punk from main event in WrestleMania. And now he's impotent because there's nothing he can do. It's not like he could attack Punk and try to injure him or anything like that. No, we can't do that. In any event, Punk signs the contract. Roman says that he should thank his tribal chief because that's why he's in the main event. And Punk gets down on one knee and thanks Roman Reigns, his tribal chief, for this main event. And then stands up and says, but that's not the favor I'm owed. And a lot of people are taking that picture of Roman Reigns sitting in the chair and Punk down on one knee. Like, he's literally bending the knee. Oh, it's a humiliation ritual. What is Phil doing? I'm looking at this thing like, okay, he's playing it to Roman's ego. Roman wants credit for this because he thought this is what Punk wanted. He thought Punk just wanted to main event WrestleMania and then he'd leave him alone. But this is not what Punk wants. And Rollins, of course, continues to throw a fit, I guess. I'm not thrilled about this. I said it before. I don't really care about this match. It's hard for three men to hold a feud together. The crowd likes everybody. They don't want anybody to lose. The personal issue is not strong enough, really, to main event. I really don't like it as the main event, if we're being honest. I don't think the personal issue between any of the guys is strong enough. We're putting them in the main event based off star power, not because of anything that has happened so far in the story. Which is what Triple H claimed that he was booking main events. It would depend on the strength of the story. Well, objectively, Naomi is in a stronger story than what these guys are doing. I'm not suggesting Naomi should main event the show. And I know there's some dipshit coming in the comment section saying, well, what do you think Naomi versus Jade Cargill should be the main? That's not what I said. I said Triple H poorly booked this angle, and none of it feels strong enough to be the main event. It's hinging on the star power of the guys involved, not in the angle. It's the same thing with John Cena and Cody Rhodes. They haven't done anything between John Cena and Cody Rhodes that leads people to be super excited for it to be the main event of WrestleMania. It's the main event because it's John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Not because, holy shit, John Cena tried to nuke Cody Rhodes from orbit. You know, he sicked wild stallions on him or something like that. You know, how is Cody going to get his revenge? There's nothing like that. This is for the WWE Championship. That title should main event the show. Cody Rhodes has it, so he has to main event. John Cena is challenging for it, so he has to main event. And, it's John Cena, by the way. And it's his last WrestleMania. And, of course, it's going to be the main event. But there's no real heat there. There hasn't been any heat since Cody got beat up. And then Cody did nothing. He's seen John Cena 2 or 3 times since then. He's done nothing. And so here, you have a similar situation where at least these guys were brawling. They were fighting with each other. But for the most part, there's nothing here that tells me that this should be the main event. And there's nothing on the line. There's nothing to be gained or nothing to be lost. And maybe within the next 2 or 3 weeks, they will announce something. But for right now, it's just the main event because of the guys involved. Because you don't put Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins on second. So you can't do that. So you got to put them on last. I just don't see why this is any good. And I don't care. I'm not even going to hold you up. Do not care. And it's unfortunate. But I think both main events are so underdeveloped that Triple H should be scolded for the amount of effort he's putting in here. He's absolutely just putting names on the page and just saying, fuck it. We're going to let these guys sell the match themselves. Rollins is saying the same thing over and over again. Punk is a danger to the company. Punk is a danger to the company. This company's been around since 1963. What is Punk going to do? Punk ain't going to do a damn thing. Nothing's going to happen, I promise. So it really doesn't make any sense. No doubt there was a whole lot of brother that went into this whole thing. But again, I was checked out a long time ago when they did this triple threat thing. Let's go to the beginning of the show, because Randy Orton said that Cody Rhodes was the reason why WWE was so successful. I mean, Cody Rhodes got such great PR. Everybody from Triple H to Nick Khan, everybody's coming out saying, oh, he's the quarterback of the team. He's so great. Cody Rhodes, oh my God, where would we be without you? He's changing the business. I'm like, my God, Randy, what the hell? And then he starts talking about Cody's going to defeat John Cena, and then he is going to come for number 15. And he's not going to kick Cody in the balls like some coward. He's going to challenge him man to man. Then Drew McIntyre came out, called both of them Nepo babies. Says that Randy Orton needs to go to the back of the line because he is going to be facing Cody Rhodes after he finishes Damian Priest. So then Cody Rhodes punched Drew McIntyre in the face. and Drew McIntyre avoided an RKO. I was disturbed by this scene simply because why are they talking about something that's going to happen after WrestleMania when they should be talking about Cody Rhodes versus John Cena? Why are you talking about this? Is not the fucking main event of Crown Jewel or something like this. This is not In Your House. This is WrestleMania. This is Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, and Randy Orton came out there talking about after WrestleMania. What are you talking about? Why are we talking about that? You should be focused on Kevin Owens. This is why it seems to me, and just being honest, I think we said months ago that it should have been Cody and Randy at WrestleMania. And I maintain that it still should have been Cody versus Randy. Because this thing with John Cena ain't clicking. It's just, they're going off of his name value. It's ridiculous that they got Randy Orton. They got CM Punk on one knee to Roman Reigns. And then you got Randy Orton out there calling Cody Rhodes the quarterback, saying, oh, we're so successful because of you. You got all these guys running around trying to take credit for the billion-dollar deals and the success of the WWE. And the guy who's really successful, the reason that WWE has been so successful, has been excommunicated from the business. He is the only reason any of these people are in any of these situations. But you have to do something, I guess. But come on. You know, it's Cody Rhodes. He's the one that's got the record gates and the record ratings, and why we're on Netflix. Get real. Why is Randy a cheerleader for Cody? Since when? That's a classic Randy Orton. He's about to turn heel setup anyway. And they should have just done it. Should have just had Randy turn heel rather than John Cena. Jesus Christ. We got a match between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre out of this thing. It was in the middle of the show. That was okay. Drew McIntyre wins because Kevin Owens helped him. And then Kevin Owens beat up Randy Orton after the match. And Drew McIntyre cut a promo saying that when nobody gets involved in his matches, he typically wins. And that he challenged Damian Priest to show up last week and he didn't show his face. So he leaves the arena, opens the door, and is assaulted by Damian Priest, who then chokeslams him on a windshield of a car. McIntyre whines, cries, and says, there's glass in my eyes. There's glass in my eye. Oh, I can't see, man. What is going on? My bloody eyes, real glass. Cry me a river. Punk came by and watched this. It's a double joke. Not only is it a real glass joke, but it's also a CM Punk gets to watch Drew McIntyre suffer. Isn't that funny kind of joke? So that was nice. Still, this was better when it comes to Priest and McIntyre. I didn't care for the match with Randy Orton because, again, it's a big match. Nothing to be gained, nothing to be lost, and Randy Orton taking a pinfall just weeks before WrestleMania seems very unnecessary, but whatever. They're trying to make Kevin Owens look like a legitimate heel. Ain't really working for me. Randy Orton feels like more like a heel with all this boot blacking he's doing for Cody. Embarrassing. Beneath Randy Orton. Very beneath him. And to be quite honest, what character of Randy Orton is there where he would do something like this, what he did to Cody on this show? Just polishing his boots. It's an embarrassment. But there's nothing, I don't think there's anything they can do to make me care about Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. This was a good start, though. You know, somebody's going to have to run somebody over with an ambulance. You know? And there's virtually nothing you could do to make me care about Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. I'm not going to give a shit. That match would have to be some kind of unsanctioned thing in order to get really excitement out of me going into that match. How am I going to get excited for a Kevin Owens match? He's fat, moody, and Canadian. I just don't care. The Street Profits defeated Pretty Deadly. Yay! Next, Katana Chance, and Caden Carter, they still exist. I call them KC squared. They were defeated by Alba Fire and Piper Niven in costume. This stems from Zelina Vega getting in Chelsea Green's face. None of this matters. Chelsea Green beat up all of these people anyway, along with the help of Alba Fire and Piper Niven. They're doing a great job of making Zelina look like a legitimate contender. She gets beat up every week. Braun Strowman and LA Knight fought to a disqualification because Jacob Fatu interfered and beat up Braun Strowman. Then he also beat up LA Knight too. The crowd was super excited for Jacob Fatu. You would think that a guy like Jacob Fatu would get a very special match at WrestleMania. Maybe even a match with Roman Reigns, perhaps, if you're going to have these guys wrestle on the show. Unfortunately, Jacob Fatu is being built up for a United States Championship match that seems to also be a triple threat match or a fatal four-way. One or the other. None of it is good. Jacob Fatu then gets into an argument with Solo, where Solo told him to watch his tone. And Jacob Fatu said he's going to be the last man standing in this situation with Braun Strowman, and he's going to bring the U.S. title back to the family. I did a short where I questioned whether the Bloodline story was even over, or whether this Jacob Fatu Solo Sikoa thing is part of it. And I'm thinking it's still part of it, but it's been diminished quite a bit. See, the thing is, Jacob Fatu came in as an absolute killer. And he was super over as a killer. And he still hasn't been pinned, if I remember correctly. You would think that in a storyline where this guy had come in with all this heat, all this energy, he's super over, and everybody wants to see him fight Roman Reigns one-on-one, that you could at least have gone in that direction to have Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. They decided not to do that either. This triple threat idea is one of the worst ideas, even on paper. They had so many different options they could have gone with Roman. You could have forced the thing with The Rock. You could have done this thing with Jacob. You could have done literally anything else, but you ended up with him in a triple threat match. It's ridiculous. It's ludicrous. It's stupid. I'm never going to stop complaining about it. I hate triple threat matches. They fucking suck. And this United States title fucking sucks. LA Knight is the champion. He's also super over, but he has to try to get a match out of Braun Strowman, who blows. Carmelo Hayes is still sitting on the bench. Where is Andrade? Nowhere to be seen. They're bringing in Phoenix. Phoenix is debuting next week. What are they bringing in Phoenix for? You don't use Andrade. You don't use Carmelo. What are you going to do with Phoenix? What are you going to do with Phoenix? This doesn't make any sense. I'm very frustrated by the United States Championship mid-card division. It is an absolute unmitigated disaster. Jimmy Uso defeated The Miz. This is because The Miz and Carmelo Hayes decided they were going to mock Jimmy Uso for reasons unknown. The internet wrestling fans are extremely upset because The Miz did a Rainmaker clothesline in that match. And they said it was the worst Rainmaker of all time, as if anybody gives a shit. It's a ripcord lariat. Who gives a fuck? That's literally all it is. It's a ripcord lariat. And guess what? Compared to the short arm clothesline from Jake the Snake Roberts, the Rainmaker sucks. Now let's get to the best part of the show, believe it or not. The Naomi vignette. This was peak. This was great. They have the vignettes where Naomi looks very scary with the hair everywhere, even though she looks nice. She's not beat up and ugly and all this stuff. But she's doing her best Tyler Perry. She's crying. She said that she was a woman that always does the right thing. She says, Bianca, so what do you think? Me attacking Jade, that was the right thing. Then she basically talking to Bianca by saying, how does Jade take my place? Who inspired you? Who inspired all these other women for 10 years? And then she says she's tired of being the third wheel, tired of being underappreciated. Everybody needs to proceed with caution. This is phenomenal. Hey, you remember that thing you did at Elimination Chamber where you turned John Cena heel? And then the very next time we saw him, he was wearing the same damn thing. He was just talking in a mean voice. You see what you're doing with Naomi? That's what we wanted. People are not going to cheer Naomi. They changed her entire gimmick. Her entire presentation has changed. So why is John Cena the same? That's the thing that's blowing. Like, oh, but the characters are different. You know, Cena, he's not changed. The people have changed. He's mean, but he's mean now. See how more effective Naomi is as a heel character. She's pouring out her emotions. She's heartbroken, but she's tired of this shit. This woman has been wrestling since, what is that? Maybe 20. She's been there at least 10 years. At least 10. I think she came in 2012 or 2011. Right? I think she joined developmental in 2007 or 2008. You know, she's been around for a really long time. And they're still finding ways to recreate her. This is the best creative she's done ever in history. Her emotions are fine. Her acting has been pretty good. Yes, she's probably getting some help when it comes to the tears. That's why it was in a vignette form. But everything about this makes perfect sense. Naomi has been here for years and years and years, and she's been bypassed again and again and again. Eventually, people snap when that happens. That makes perfect sense. That works as a character. And now, all the positivity of the big glow gimmick, you've gotten rid of it. It's replaced by an embittered, angry Naomi, who still thinks that she's in the right. That she never has done anything wrong. She's never been the bad guy. And she still isn't. This is perfect. This is great. And she's so deranged now that she sees B-Fab and Michin, they're Mia Yim, they're friends with Jade Cargill. So she attacks them because Mia Yim is about to wrestle Charlotte. She's about to try to anyway. She's about to do what Mia Yim calls wrestling with Charlotte. Now, the most unbelievable thing about this is not that Naomi is a really good actress and she's very mean and angry. It's that all these black women are friends. Because nobody believes that 4 black women got in one place at one time and they're all friends. It's just not realistic at all, period. And I'm including Mia Yim in that black women's thing. Get me to believe that Jade Cargill, B-Fab, Mia Yim, and all of them are friends. Get real. Get real. I know way too many black women, man. You're not going to pull that one on me. That's some of that stuff you see in Spike Lee movies where, you know, the black women have all these huge circles of black female friends. Nah, probably 1 or 2. Probably Jade ain't making that many goddamn friends. If she was hot shit like everybody acts like she is, yeah, it'd be far more Naomi's than it would be Bianca's. I can tell you that. But I can tell you this. All this was good. Naomi set up her new look. Everything works. She attacks Mia Yim before the match. She also attacks B-Fab and beats her up too. Jade runs to the ring. Naomi runs away. Excellent. Very well done. Hey, Megan Bain, are you watching? Are you paying attention? So as Jade is going back up the ramp, Charlotte is coming down for her match, even though Mia Yim just got beat up. And Jade and Charlotte have a stare down in the aisleway. This is the second stare down they've had in the aisleway. Their first one was before Jade even formally debuted. She was just basically going back and forth to see which brand she was going to be on. So Mia Yim does what she calls wrestling versus Charlotte. Loses, obviously. So after that, we get a Tiffany Stratton promo. Tiffany Stratton actually digs in the bag a little bit. Says that Charlotte is insecure and she's the one with something to lose, because if she loses, meaning Tiffany, if Tiffany loses, well, she was a rookie and she lost to the great Charlotte Flair. But if Charlotte loses, she's the one who's lost to a flipping, blonde little girl. And what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And she's going to make sure what stays in Vegas is Charlotte Flair's massive ego. Infinitely better promo this week from Tiffany. Obviously, the dueling promo shook her up, upset her fan base, and really got a lot of people talking. She needed to bounce back, and she did a good job here. I can say this, it was a nice little twist that Charlotte has run her down so much that Charlotte can't possibly lose to her without diminishing her own skills and abilities. It's one of those things where they used to say in wrestling, you shouldn't bury your opponent, because what happens if you lose? You know, if you bury your opponent, then you lost to a bum, a scourge, a jabroni, or whatever. But if you put your opponent over, then it's more protective if you win. So Charlotte put herself in this position where she's diminished Tiffany so much that if she loses, then she looks bad. And similarly, that's how John Cena looked really bad when he lost to Austin Theory and Solo Sikoa, because he went out there and he cut them down verbally and just absolutely destroyed them, ran them over. And then he had to go out there and put them over. And it didn't help them at all, because they was like, oh, well, he's the great John Cena, and Austin Theory is funny looking guy on television with a lot of muscles. And Solo Sikoa doesn't have any personality, and he's just kind of fat and Samoan. And that just didn't help them at all. So in this situation, I think Tiffany bounced back quite well. She still needs more promo time. She needs to do more when it comes to promos. Not having Charlotte there helps, but they should have had Charlotte respond. Basically, Charlotte should have saw the vignette or saw the promo and then picked up a mic and cut a live promo in response to what Tiffany said. I think that would have been just a little bit better. Tiffany and Charlotte, it has so much potential, but it's mostly going to be athletics. Again, they are staying away from what I feel like is the real meat of the feud between these two, or what it could be. Right now, if you was to sit down and ask me objectively, what's the best booked feud in WWE, without one shadow of any doubt, it is Naomi versus Jade Cargill. It is the best feud in WWE currently. Period. And it is mid-card at best. At best. You got 4 world champions. The women's world title is a triple threat match. Some idiots online truly believe that Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky should main event WrestleMania because they've done a really great job. What are you talking about? What, like, really? This is literally the girl version of the Roman Reigns thing. They're just forcing a triple threat match. If it was Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, maybe. I think there'll be enough people with the right booking that would be interested in that as a big fight. But no, Triple H forced Io Sky into it. Now it's just another triple threat match. Tiffany Stratton is not a strong enough character to main event WrestleMania. And Charlotte just returned, and then their feud has been lackluster. Again, I said earlier, Cody and John Cena are only main eventing because it's Cody and John Cena. And in the other world title, it's literally Jay fucking Uso, who has virtually nothing with Gunther. That thing is dead in the water. It's been dead for weeks. You think it's alive, but it's not. Oh, Gunther chokes Jay Uso from behind for the 5th week in a row since the Royal Rumble. Yawn. Put him on second. Put him on first. You know, I thought they might want to end WrestleMania with everybody yeeting in the ring and waving the arms for the visual. But silly me. You got to give Phil his main event. So really, there really isn't anything of appropriate quality to main event WrestleMania, if you're being honest. All of this feels like mid-card shit. I said in the live stream, the Q&A, that when you look at WrestleMania 38, there was so much energy. There was a tagline. Vince was like, stupendous. It was big. WrestleMania too big for one night. Every WrestleMania was something like big time or all grown up or something like that. There's nothing for this WrestleMania. It's literally WrestleMania 41. That's it. WrestleMania 41. Come watch a bunch of triple threat matches and some underdeveloped rookie champions like Braun Breaker and Tiffany Stratton that, yeah, they're good, but you don't know how good because they don't actually put any emphasis on them and they don't show you how good they are. Sometimes I appreciate people's passions, and I realize that some people's favorite wrestlers, they want to see them succeed. They want to see them at the top of the card. But you got to get fucking real. There was never going to be a women's main event at WrestleMania, nor should there be. The issue here is that the young talent are not being positioned as being future main event guys. They're all being overlooked or put in matches that could be easily overlooked or bathroom breaks. And then the people who are actually in the main event, the folks who are literally in ticket selling position, are not given any real feuds. Why is Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, which was the big feud of 2024, that was filled with weapons and good promos and guys attacking each other and blood? There's nothing like that for WrestleMania. Gunther and Jey Uso have wrestled each other 3 times so far. You would think they would be in a blood feud. That's what you would think, right? That these guys would be in the middle of a heated, I hate you, I'm going to destroy you. Nope. Every week it's, they underestimated me, oops. They overlooked me, oops. And Gunther, you don't deserve to be in the ring with me. You don't deserve to be in the ring with the ring. Come on, man. What is this shit? Take into account what Kevin Owens said. Like, Kevin Owens did an interview recently where he claimed that the previous administration, quote unquote, didn't respect the fans' intelligence because they would say, well, the fans ain't going to remember that. Well, guess, and then he says, well, you're insulting the fans' intelligence. I remember it. The fans are going to remember it. They're going to remember this. They're paying attention. They're watching the show every week. Oh, really? Yeah, I watch this show every week. What happened to the Braun Breaker AJ Styles build? That just dropped out of nowhere. Now it's gone. What happened? Oh, Mr. Triple H cares about continuity. Oh, really? What happened to Alexa Bliss? Where is she? She came back. It was a big whole thing about, you don't listen to the internet. Alexa Bliss is back in WWE. Oh, that was 2 months ago. Where is she now? Where is she now? Is she hiding under somebody's skirt? Is she under the ring? Where is she? Continuity. Continuity, huh? Okay. Why is B-Fab not with the Street Profits anymore? Did anybody ever ask that question? She was their manager, right? Why is she not their manager anymore? Continuity, right? Shouldn't she have been out there to celebrate with them when they won the titles? No, I guess not. Guess not. Continuity. Triple H cares about continuity, guys. He cares about continuity. There's so much continuity. Where's Sami Zayn? Where is he hiding? Where you keeping Sami Zayn? Where you smuggling Sami Zayn at around here? Andrade wanted to be the U.S. champion. Oh, hey, speaking of which, didn't Andrade have an angle with Humberto on TV where he told Humberto, you deserve better than this? How many weeks ago was that? 3? They didn't build on that at all. They just dropped it. It's gone. It's over. But Triple H cares about continuity. The past administration, they didn't care about continuity. They were disrespecting your intelligence. My intelligence is offended that you would book a triple threat match. Even one triple threat match. I am offended by the concept. Let's be honest, though. They talk about, and I'm going to give Vince Russo some credit, I don't think this was booked a year in advance. They can lie and say, oh yeah, they had all these plans for John Cena's heel turn. It don't seem like it. Don't seem like they was prepared for a John Cena heel turn at all. It does look like they were prepared for Naomi's heel turn. I mean, they let that storyline, they dragged that story out to the point where we thought they forgot it. We thought they had dropped it. And then they finally nail the damn thing. They give us exactly what we asked for. And people are excited for Naomi. They're excited for what she's doing on the television program. They like the new look. Everything's going hunky-dory with Naomi. It's working out just fine. But John Cena, which was the biggest heel turn, the biggest storyline of the last 30 years, and it's flopping. Only super fans think Cena versus Cody is doing good. Only people who are boot blacking for WWE think that this thing is good. Anybody else who is looking at it objectively can tell that Cena's beef is with the audience, not with Cody. Cena's decision is to chase the title, not to attack Cody. He has done nothing to Cody except beat him up. And we don't even know why he did that. That's not even going to be addressed. It hasn't even been hinted at. Or, hey, guess what? They also haven't mentioned The Rock. So, all this stuff, right? On top of this, I'm going back to it. Goddamn triple threat match. Makes this one of the most missed opportunities of all time. This shows how susceptible Triple H is to the brothering. People whispering in his ear, giving him really bad ideas that he then executes. You got to tell me somebody, probably Paul or somebody like that, told him that this triple threat match was a good idea. It's 3 megastars. Who cares? It's not a feud. How is Punk feuding with Roman? And it's not based off of anything Punk said in a promo 10 years ago that got Roman booed and disrespected by the audience. How is that, which is the most natural story, completely and totally avoided? But Kevin Owens told me that the audience was smart and that the audience remembers. But they don't want a CM Punk Roman Reigns feud based off that. For WrestleMania? What are you going to do? Are you going to do it for fucking Clash of Champions? This stuff is absolutely absurd. It is absurd. And I'm tired of it. Let's move on. Let's wrap this thing up. I'm sorry I've been complaining so much. They got a new commentator, a new announcer rather. His name is Mike Nash. This is a gentleman from ESPN. He was okay. I think if you wanted something with a little bit more color, I think Samantha was probably more colorful and Alicia is a little bit more punk rock. This guy sounds very professional, very much like a boxing announcer, which is what they wanted because the guy, again, he worked for ESPN. So, I mean, he was okay. I can't complain, but it's clear that Nick Khan is putting his people in place, and his people are basically ESPN guys. How many people have they brought over from ESPN since Vince left? Let's see, you got, I think Tessitore came from ESPN. This Mike Nash guy came from ESPN. The new producer, the new executive producer, Lee Fitting, he came from ESPN. McAfee. Well, I think McAfee maybe signed with, did he sign with ESPN before or after he was with WWE? I think it was around the same time. I think he was on College Game Day already before he came over to do commentary. So it seems that Nick Khan is just going to ESPN the fuck out of WWE. And that would have been fine if ESPN was still a network for men, which I guess during Nick Khan's time it was. But ESPN is absolutely daytime soap now. So have fun with that. I shouldn't say that, but I'm saying it anyway. But this new guy isn't bad. You know, he's very professional. He's a little on the I don't want to say boring side, but he's not noticeable. He's much like Mike Rome, where he's serviceable. He sounds fine. He doesn't try to add too much of himself into it. But that's what we're used to as wrestling fans and the ring announcers. We're used to big personalities, big voices, and stuff like that. You know, going back to Howard Finkel. But Howard Finkel was, again, very professional. And it wasn't until recently we started getting, well, recently being the 2000s, when they started doing stuff with Lillian Garcia, where, well, yes, Howard Finkel did he? I don't think he did angles at the time. I think he started doing angles in the Attitude Era. I'm not sure if he did angles in the 80s or 90s. I don't remember. I know Mean Gene Okerlund did. I'm not sure if Howard Finkel did. But they started doing angles with Lillian Garcia in the 2000s, like, stuff with Viscera and things like that. And then they started doing angles with other ring announcers, Justin Roberts, etc. And this is why Samantha wanted to be was okay with being a ring announcer, because they were like, oh, sometimes they use ring announcers as part of the story. But this guy is much like Joe Tessitore, where he's so professional that he feels detached from the rest of the show, not like he's part of it, And maybe that's what they want now, is they don't want the announcers. Well, they want some of the announcers to be part of the show, because they want Pat McAfee to yeet and jump on the table and do all that stuff. He's super annoying. But then they want Joe Tessitore to pull it back, be super professional. They don't mind Michael Cole making jokes and all that kind of stuff too, but I guess they're kind of letting it run. But Tessitore and Nash especially feel detached from the rest of the product, because they feel so professional, like they're really calling a sporting event, which is, wrestling is not that. So, but let me know what you guys think. I rambled a whole lot about, this triple threat match. I still hate it. I'm going to hate it forever. It could be the best match of all time. I'm still not going to like it. So I'm just going to be irrational on that tip. So let me know what you guys think about everything else, and I'll talk to you later.